As we travel through the complicated weave of life, we often come across waves that could knock our boat off course. I'm going to talk about a philosophy today. It's a way to ride out these waves with a strong heart and a clear mind. This philosophy is not just a plan, it's a way of life, a way of thinking that gives us the strength to handle life's difficulties with poise and ease. The skill of acting like nothing is bothering us, the skill of being strong and calm. Picture yourself in the middle of a storm where the water is rough and the winds are strong. In this situation, our first reaction is to freak out and let fear take over. But there is an option, a road that not many people take but is much more satisfying. This road is about staying calm inside, having a strong will when things go wrong. It's about being strong when everyone else is trying to bring you down. One might now ask, why is this way of thinking so important? What the answer is lies in the very nature of our being. In all its beauty and complexity, life is hard to plan for. We go through a range of events, some of which make us feel better, and others of which test us. These problems come in many forms, such as personal failures, problems at work, and sudden events in life. The things that make us unique are not the problems themselves, but how we deal with them. This is where the power of how we think comes in. How we think about things shapes how we see the world. It changes how we think, how we act, and finally, how real things are. When we develop a resilient attitude, we choose to see life's hurdles not as problems that can't be solved, but as chances to learn, grow, and come out on top. It is important to be clear. Acting like our problems don't exist does not mean we are ignoring them or living in ignorance. It means being aware of these problems, but not letting them take over our thoughts and feelings. It means realizing that we may not be able to change the things that happen around us, but we can completely change how we react to them. This idea of being unflappable isn't about hiding your feelings or acting tough. It's about building up inner strength, a calmness that stays with us even when things go wrong in the outside world. The goal is to achieve mental balance so that we can enjoy all of life's ups and downs without becoming too stressed by them. We will find out more about the parts of this adaptable attitude as we go deeper into this study. We will learn from people who have been through rough waves and stayed cool. We will talk about real-world ways to build this inner strength, and we will learn how to use these ideas in our everyday lives. Being able to handle things without getting upset is a difficult but beneficial process. You'll learn about yourself, push limits, and change what you think is possible on this trip. Open yourself up to the lessons this journey has to offer as we start it. Let's learn from the wise advice to stay calm under pressure and act like nothing is bothering us, not as a show, but as proof of how strong we really are. There is more to this journey than just facing life's storms. It's also about learning to dance in the rain, find peace in the middle of chaos, and make a peaceful way through life's rough terrain. As we continue to look into this, remember that we all have the power to stay calm when bad things happen. Our journey into the world of resilience starts now, preparing us for a life-changing event that will give us new tools to deal with life. As we set sail on this trip to find ourselves, it becomes very important to know what bothers us. Finding these common sources of stress in our lives is where we can find the strength to deal with them. In our own special ways, each of us faces many problems. These problems can be personal, like health and relationships, or professional, like moving up in your job and balancing work and life. Besides these, social forces and events happening around the world also have an effect on us. These stresses are important, not just because they are there, but because they change the way we think and feel. Stress is often seen as an unwanted visitor, but it can be a very useful teacher. We learn about our weaknesses, our skills, and our ability to change because of it. But if we don't do anything about it, worry can turn into something bad that hurts our health, happiness, and ability to get things done. It can make us less smart, hurt our relationships, and stop us from moving forward. The key is not to avoid worry, but to understand it and deal with it. To understand worry, we have to look inside ourselves and accept how we feel. It's about being aware of when we're stressed, angry, or overloaded. Being aware of ourselves is the first thing that we need to do to change how we deal with stress. Remember that worry is not a sign of weakness. It's a normal reaction to life's difficulties. But how should we deal with these problems? The answer lies in how we see things. The way we see things is like a tool that we use to create our lives. It's what we use to see and understand the world around us. We change our world when we change how we see it. You don't have to paint over life's problems with an unrealistically positive tint. You can choose to see these problems in a different way. We could ask, what can I learn from this? Instead of, why is this happening to me, when we're in a tough spot? This simple change in thinking doesn't change the issue, but it does change how we deal with it. That is, it changes a problem into a chance and a roadblock into a stepping stone. This shift in how you see things won't happen overnight. It's a skill that needs time, effort, and practice. To do this, you have to choose to think about answers instead of problems and chances instead of problems. To do this, you have to see the chance to grow in every struggle and the chance to win in every loss. Also, how we see things affects how we react. When we think something is dangerous, our bodies respond by causing a fear reaction. But how we act changes when we see the same thing as a task. We pay attention, get involved, and get the tools we need to handle the problem. This doesn't mean that things stop being hard, but it does mean that we can deal with them in a better way. As we learn more about the things that stress us out and how they affect us, we also start to understand how complicated the mind is. How we deal with worry depends a lot on what we think and believe. Negative beliefs and thoughts can keep us stuck in a circle of stress and worry. On the other hand, positive beliefs and thoughts can give us the strength to get through hard times. To get rid of our worries, we need to do more than just become stronger. We also need to change how we deal with life's challenges. Learning how to steer through rough water with purpose and poise is what it's all about. Understanding that we can't always stop life's waves, but we can learn to ride them is what it's all about. By looking into what bothers us, we not only find the things that cause us stress, but we also find that we have the power to beat them. Through this, we learn that we have the power to change our experiences by changing how we see them. As we go along this path, we learn more about ourselves as well as the problems we face. We're moving toward a place of peace and strength where we can handle anything life throws at us. While we continue to learn about the knowledge of unflappability, it can be helpful to look back at history and get ideas from people who have shown resilience throughout the years. Many people have been calm in the face of chaos, from the thinkers of ancient Greece who taught people how to find inner peace to the leaders of today who have to deal with the rough seas of global problems. These people show us that not only is it possible to be unflappable, it's also a very strong skill. Think about the life of Cicero, the Stoic philosopher. He kept a calm and sensible attitude even though he was going through a lot of personal and professional problems. His works are still relevant today because they stress how important it is to be in charge of your own emotions, no matter what is going on around you. More recently, we've had leaders like Nelson Mandela, who came out of jail after 27 years, not angry, but determined to heal his country. These examples from different times and countries show that being unflappable is a trait that will always be useful, even after hundreds of years. But what is the philosophy behind this very interesting trait? When things get tough, Staying cool comes down to realizing that our experiences are temporary. It's about realizing that both hard times and happy times are temporary, and that how we deal with them affects our journey. This philosophy doesn't make our events less real. Instead, it gives us the tools to deal with them in a wise and kind way. There is one idea that sums up this philosophy perfectly: equilibrium. Equanimity means being able to stay calm and think clearly no matter what is going on, whether it is good or bad. It's about finding a balance inside that doesn't change when life gets good or bad. This balance isn't about being detached or uninterested. It's about being deeply involved with life while also being calmly accepting that it changes all the time. So how do we create this calm, peaceful attitude? The way to being unflappable is both in your mind and in real life. The way we think and feel shapes our actions and emotions. It all starts in the mind with the attitudes and views we develop. Mindfulness exercise is one of the best ways to make yourself calm. It's an art to be fully present, in the present moment, aware of yourself and your surroundings without judging or getting distracted. We train ourselves to act with purpose instead of just reacting out of habit when we practice awareness. Practicing this helps us separate our quick emotional reactions from our deeds so we can pick how we want to react. Emotional intelligence development is another important part. To do this, we need to understand our feelings, see how they affect our thoughts and actions, and learn how to handle them well. Emotional intelligence helps us handle our feelings with skill and ease, making sure that they help us instead of controlling us. To become less easily upset, we also need to see problems as chances to learn and grow. This change in viewpoint is very important. When we see problems as chances, we deal with them with interest and openness instead of fear and resistance. When we change our point of view, our lives change completely, and things that could be problems become opportunities. The skill of being unflappable can also be developed through the practice of grit. Being resilient means being able to get back up after a failure or problem. It's about making a strong base inside that can stand up to the storms of life. Self-care, relationships that support you, and a strong sense of purpose are all things that help build this base. We start to build unflappability into our daily lives as we learn more about these techniques. The process takes time and needs practice, patience, and determination. However, the benefits are huge. A calm attitude not only helps us deal with stress and problems better, but it also makes our relationships with others better and our enjoyment of life's joys greater. We stay on this road by learning the art of unflappability, which gives us the tools and knowledge to handle any situation with calm and understanding. This journey, which is full of learning and growth, sets you up for a life that is balanced, strong, and deeply satisfying. As we talk about how to become more resilient in real life, it becomes clear that becoming unflappable isn't just a mental leap. It also requires action. It has to do with building up our mental and emotional strongholds through daily habits and practices. These techniques help us become more aware, improve our emotional intelligence, and learn how to get over losses and failures. Making daily habits is one of the most important things you can do to build resilience. These habits give our days a steady beat, like the steady beat of a drum. They give us order and security. One of these is thinking about things. It's important to take time every day to think about our events, figure out how they made us feel, and learn from them. This can be done by writing in a notebook, meditating, or just taking a few moments to think about yourself. It helps us sort through our feelings and thoughts, which gives us focus and understanding. Self-care is another important habit. Self-care is an important part of being strong, but it's easy to forget about when we're busy. It includes many things, like getting enough sleep, living well, working out, and relaxing. These habits not only keep our heads healthy, but also our bodies. A healthy body makes a strong container for a strong mind. Mindfulness, which we've talked about, is another important skill for building resilience. It's about being fully present and involved with what we're going through right now. Meditation is one way to practice mindfulness, but you can also do easy things like eat, walk, or listen with awareness. It means giving our full attention to whatever we're doing without worrying about what other people think or feeling. This practice makes us more aware, which lets us deal with problems in life on purpose instead of just reacting automatically. Having emotional intelligence is also a big part of being resilient. It means being aware of and knowing our own and other people's feelings. It's about learning to understand how others feel, controlling our feelings, and dealing with social problems with understanding and grace. Being open to feedback, practicing active listening, and being aware of how we react emotionally can all help us become more emotionally intelligent. Getting over losses and learning from mistakes are two of the most important parts of becoming resilient. We all know that life isn't a straight line of wins. It's full of mistakes, regrets, and fails. Even though they are often painful, these events are priceless chances to grow. They teach us how to be patient and persistent, as well as what our skills and flaws are. As a teacher, the important thing is not to avoid loss, but to welcome it. There are many cases of people in history who lived by this concept. Take Thomas Edison as an example. His many bad tests led to revolutionary ideas. Or J.K. Rowling, who had many writing projects turned down before Harry Potter became a hit. These stories show us that being resilient isn't about never falling, but about getting back up after we do. To stay cool under pressure and create a calm attitude, there is a philosophy that goes along with these steps. To grow, learn, and change is important in this philosophy. It's about realizing that life's wins are not something to be afraid of, but something to be skilled and wise about. By coming up with these plans, we start to make ourselves more resilient. We stop seeing problems as impossible problems and start seeing them as chances to use the new skills we've learned. It teaches us to be open and curious about life, ready to learn from anything that comes our way. As we go on this trip, let's keep in mind that becoming more resilient is an ongoing process. It takes dedication, hard work, and patience, but the benefits are huge. Not only does having an adaptable attitude help us deal with life's difficulties, but it also makes our events more meaningful, our relationships stronger, and our general health better. When we take these real steps, we start a path that will change our lives and lead us to a place of strength, balance, and deep satisfaction. It's a trip that makes us ready for both the good and bad things that happen in life. Let's take these practices with us as we go forward and work them into our daily lives. We can then watch as they shape our way to being strong and calm. It's very important to know what it means to live with ease and power. This isn't just about getting through life's problems. It's also about living in the middle of them. It's about meeting each day, not just with strength, but also with grace and ease. Being a strong oak tree in a storm is a lot like living with beauty and power. Even when it rains hard and the wind howls, the oak tree stands strong. It has deep roots, but it's also flexible enough to bend with the wind without breaking. This metaphor shows what a beautiful and strong life is all about. That means having a strong base based on our values and beliefs, while also being able to bend to fit the changing situations of life. Grace in the face of trouble is not a silent acceptance. It is an action. What it means is dealing with problems with respect, staying calm, and going into every situation with confidence and calm. On the other hand, strength isn't always thought of as just being physically or emotionally tough. But real strength is more than that. Being brave enough to be open about our problems, strong enough to get through them, and strong enough to keep going. We can handle life's risks with a calm heart when we have inner strength. When you mix beauty and strength, you get something very strong. It helps us handle the ups and downs of life with grace and strength. A lot of people in history have shown how this combo can work. Today, think about how leaders like Mahatma Gandhi and Martin Luther King Jr. led their causes with grace and honor. Even though they met a lot of resistance and suffering, they always acted in a peaceful and honorable way. This can be seen in people today who have been through terrible things and then use them to help others, changing their pain into a force for good. How can we make our own lives more like this mix of kindness and strength? Being self-aware means knowing our ideals and views, as well as our skills and flaws. Being self-aware is what makes us strong and gives us a solid base from which to face life's obstacles. Being grateful is another important part. Being thankful changes our attention from what we don't have to what we do have. It helps us remember the good things in our lives, even when things are bad. This shift in perspective is not just psychologically beneficial, but also has tangible effects on our well-being, enhancing our resilience. Emotional regulation plays a crucial role as well. It's about managing our emotions in a way that allows us to respond to situations appropriately. This doesn't mean suppressing our emotions, but understanding them, acknowledging them. This ability to regulate our emotions is a hallmark of both grace and strength. Furthermore, living with grace and strength involves embracing change and uncertainty. It's about understanding that change is the only constant in life and learning to adapt to it. This adaptation is not about losing ourselves to change, but about growing with it, evolving our thoughts, beliefs, and actions as our circumstances evolve. Moreover, cultivating a sense of purpose is vital. A life lived with purpose is a life lived with clarity and focus. Our purpose acts as a compass, guiding us through life's storms, keeping us anchored in our principles and motivated in our pursuits. As we integrate these practices into our lives, we begin to embody the essence of living with grace and strength. We become like the oak tree, deeply rooted yet flexible, enduring yet beautiful. This way of living not only enables us to face life's challenges, but also enriches our experiences, deepening our connections with others and enhancing our overall sense of fulfillment.